it's JaaackJack and welcome back to my channel. Today we are cutting our hair. So here's what my hair looks like. It is so long, so straggly. We're going to give it a nice healthy trim and I'm going to show you how I do that. And then we're also going to freshen up our layers, and this is the part where if I have any hairstylist friends, just look away. I know this is not the proper way to cut your hair, but this is what I've been doing and I like it. So without further ado, grab your scissors, grab your hairbrush, a comb, and a trash bag to catch all the hair that we're gonna cut off, and let's begin. So I'm going to start off by taking a section right above my ears, and this is going to be the bottom section that we're going to start with. So I'm going to brush it out, and I like using a comb here rather than an actual brush. I just feel like it smooths everything out so perfectly. So when you comb through, you can make your hair nice and straight and then trim off however much you want. So we're starting off with the trim because that's the easy part. So trim to where your heart's desire. I cut off, what was that, like maybe 2 inches, an inch and a half? I don't really know. I'm going to guess that was like 2 inches. So, but if you want to do a little baby trim, feel free. No rules here. Go do what you want. But this first cut is really like the guide for everything else. So make sure you're happy with that first cut. And then we're going to take the other side and literally line it up to where we made that first cut and just trim it off. Easy peasy. Look at that. Now I'm going to take out that top section and brush all of my hair out, and we're going to just cut the rest. I've noticed with my hair so long, it's really easy to just do it in these 2 sections. But if your hair is more like medium, shorter length, I would definitely work in smaller sections for sure. But with long hair, it's really easy to just like snip it off. If you make a mistake, there's so much hair left to work with. So it's not a big deal. So for me personally, I just do the bottom part and the top part. And I'm using that guide from our first 2 cuts that we did. I'm using that as the guide to cut the remainder of my hair, and now it is all the same length. And you can like point cut if you want it to be wispier, but I actually love the way like having a blunt cut, it makes your hair look so thick. So I leave it as is, and I like that. So now I'm going to section off the top part of my hair, and I'm also going to make a middle section as well. So we're basically going to work in 3 different sections to do the layers. So working with the bottom layer first, I'm just going to start taking chunks of hair. This is not super like accurate and precise, but I'm just going to take chunks of hair and drag my scissors down my hair. So I'm not actually cutting. That's what you want to avoid, because when you actually cut layers, I think you're more prone to making a mistake, especially if you don't know what you're doing like me. So when you just drag it like this, you're really just like razoring off hair, which is a lot more forgiving. So if you are wondering, can I cut my hair? Should I cut my hair? I would definitely recommend trying this way over like trying to cut your own layers in, if that makes sense. Because yeah, it's easier to make mistakes. So this is just a lot more forgiving and more natural. So I take a handful of different sections and just kind of drag my scissors down from like my chin length downward. And it's just going to create these very like wispy layers in your hair. So now I'm taking down the middle section and doing the exact same thing. I definitely am focusing towards like the front of my face because that's the pieces that are going to frame my face most. But I'm taking sections all over, like in the middle, towards the back, like because I want these like wispy layers to be everywhere. And it's going to make your hair feel a lot lighter. So if you have heavy, thick hair, this is going to be so nice. And it also just adds some volume to your hair with these wispy layers that we're adding. So we just did one side and you can already see the difference. Like this side looks more full, whereas this side is a little skinnier and more straggly. So now let's do the same thing to the next side and add those layers in to give that subtle volume to our hair. And when you have really long hair like I do, it is very easy for your hair to look super flat. So that's why I feel like having these layers are super necessary and super important with long hair. Otherwise, you're going to get that super long straggly look. This already feels so much lighter and just feels so good. So now I'm going to work on the top section, which in my opinion is the most important section. First, I'm just going to snip off these random little strands here. But I feel like this is the most important section because they are my shortest layers, and I want them to be the shortest layers because they're gonna add the most volume around the crown of my head and like frame my face the most. So we want to be extra careful here. So I am going to do the same process here, but make the layers a lot shorter. So maybe starting around my nose and dragging it downwards. And I didn't know this was actually a thing, but there is a trend going around called the jellyfish haircut, where it's literally like you have really short layers on the top of your head and everything else is long and it looks like a jellyfish. And I didn't know that that was a thing, but apparently that's a thing. So this could be like the easy, subtle way to get the jellyfish hairstyle, keeping these top layers very, very short. But you can already see how they're kind of framing the face, the way that they fall. And so this is where like you can make it personal for you. Like do a little trim, see how it lays. And if you're happy with it, leave it. If you're not, keep chopping. Or I'm not chopping, keep razoring, I should say. And the way I'm doing it now, where I'm like kind of hacking at it, it was because I'm getting impatient. Don't do that. Like it's kind of dangerous. You can like easily like stab your hand doing that. So I wouldn't recommend that. But at this point, I was just getting kind of impatient and wanted to be done. So that's why I was like hacking away at this top layer. So I'm spending a little bit more time on each section here to make these layers super short, super wispy, and just make sure I'm really happy with it. But once I'm done with that, I'm going to work in the next section. So I didn't mention this earlier, but with this top section, I'm working in 4 vertical rows, maybe if you want to call it like that. So splitting that top section into 4 parts and working that way. And yeah, at the very end, I'll do one last little snip across my like bangs or fringe area. And that gives the most like layery look where everything else is more subtle. But overall, this is what the hair looks like. I'm happy with it. That's why like I have no problem cutting my hair at home. If you're too scared or you just don't trust yourself, then of course I would highly recommend going to a hair salon and seeing a hairstylist who will perfect your hair. But if you're a little more risky and not scared to mess up your hair, give my way a try. But do it at your own risk. You have been warned. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed and found it helpful, whether you have super long hair that you want to add layers to, or you have medium length hair and you just want to learn how to give a fresh trim. I hope this was helpful. Have a great day. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!